Danny Swift Garcia beats Adrian Granados. Afterwards, he said he hoped he didn't scare Manny Pacquiao down to fight Shawn Porter rematch, Keith Thurman rematch, or even, yes, Errol Spence. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We work. Danny Garcia looked real sharp versus Adrian Granados. Make sure you guys check it if you have the Fox app, Fox Sports Go. And he's back, back in the win column. Listen, I gotta state this because Garcia, I'm new media. So I speak for the people who don't always get a fair shake. I'm the people's champion. So it wouldn't be right if I didn't use my platform to call out the bullshit. Now, Danny Garcia in his age group, he has one of the best resumes. 31 and under, he's about 31. He has one of the best resumes. Him, Canelo, I'm talking about 31 years of age or younger, right? He has plenty of fights, stuff like that. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's Angel Garcia's personality or things he said, Danny Garcia gets a lot of hate, and one thing with old media that I notice is this. They do a lot of this before the fight. They say a lot of this before the fight, but then when the fight happens and it doesn't play out as they suggested, as they suspected, all of a sudden they switch up on us and start saying different things that they weren't saying beforehand. Danny Garcia, before he fought Adrian Granados, I was shocked and I was surprised, and I told you guys on videos and live streams, I'm surprised the disrespect that Danny Garcia, I think I even tweeted it too, I'm surprised with the level of disrespect that Danny Garcia is getting. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Granados. I like him, I like his demeanor, but I don't know if it's a national pride, ethnicity thing. Adrian Granados is a Mexican fighter, Danny Garcia is a Puerto Rican fighter. Mexico versus Puerto Rico has had some storied rivalries in boxing, but a lot of y'all disrespected that man Danny Garcia. Like, Granados is a good fighter, but he lost to Felix Diaz. He lost to Shawn Porter. He beat Amir Imam, but he got knocked down. But he did stop him. That was good. But we didn't really know everything about Amir Imam. That was like one of Don King's last hopefuls and real big prospects. So he beat, I don't even remember how it ended, Javier Fortuna. I remember he flew through the rings. I was at that fight on the Errol Spence. But the bottom line is this: Granados is good, he's game, he's tough, he brings a good fight. Broner beat him, things like that. So a lot of people were picking him over Garcia, and I just didn't see it, and I told you guys that. I don't really see how you guys are picking Granados over him. However, if Garcia is not the same fighter, or if he's not hungry, then yeah, Granados is not the person you want to be in the ring with, because he's game, he's cagey, he's rough, he has heart, he gets up if he gets knocked down, and he applies pressure. But people were saying this pressure, we're going to do this, and Danny, that's what Danny eats up all day, that it proves to me a lot of people, they watch the sport, but they don't know shit about boxing, because they're always off in their projection. Oh, Crawford is going to lose to Khan, and then they're off, and Granados is going to get him. It's like pure emotion right here, thinking with their heart and stuff like that. So a lot of disrespect I see with Danny Garcia. But he's a counter puncher. I don't really understand why people were so adamant and confident picking against him. But once again, I got this prediction right. This was a pretty easy one. Like I said, if Danny was a shell of his former self, then it could have been a different fight. But, Danny lost to Keith Thurman, a champion, and Shawn Porter, a current champion. So, Granados was someone who recently moved up too. Danny, heavy hands. Keith Thurman even told you that. So, long story short, I didn't understand the disrespect for Danny Garcia in the build-up, but whatever. Shout out to World Boxing News, link in the description. They have the quotes listed, so, I'll use that. Danny Garcia names Manny Pacquiao on a 4-man list of targets. They show a picture. Danny looked sharp here. He really did. Danny Garcia, he dropped Granados 3 times before he got the stoppage in the 7th. And, he controlled the pace, good ass countering. And you know what the funny thing is? When you see people like Danny Garcia, you can tell he's one of the seasoned veterans and champions. And, a guy that started boxing when he was young. Philly's a fight town anyway. But you could tell because the way he was fighting Granados, he looked super composed, and he didn't look like, how do you say it? Like, it looked effortless. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just like, bop, bop, and he was catching Granados, and it was powerful and heavy-handed, but it didn't look like, you watch a movie or something like Creed, they're doing a bunch of, like, theatrics. But in the real world of boxing, the punches that hurt you the most are the ones you don't see coming. Garcia was just real effective, and it didn't look like he was even like trying. It didn't look like he had to buckle down at any points. He just walking, using his just boxing fundamentals. So he looked good, man. He looked sharp. And truth be told, based on being undefeated and having 2 losses to Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter, even though those were respectable losses, he didn't get like knocked through the ropes and knocked out or anything like that. He needed a performance like this to, just to remind motherfuckers like, yo, I'm Danny Swift still, because people started writing him off. Boxing is an unforgiving sport. So it's just the reality of it. People were like, oh yeah, he's done. And, so having a sharp performance like this against a cagey game guy with the good resume names that he's been in with. Because if you look at it, Broner, I was at that fight in Cincinnati. Broner didn't stop Granados. He got a hand injury, so maybe that played some part. But, either way, the fight as it played out, Broner was in a tough fight. It was a good fight. And it was, there were back and forth moments. This wasn't, So Danny Garcia, he really showed up here. Danny Garcia said, quote, "I've said before, when Danny Garcia is at his best, nobody can beat him. I had gotten a little bit comfortable in the past, but I put 110% into this Granados fight. And when I do that, I beat everyone." So, he needed this. He said, "I felt good landing that big left hook. I was proud of my performance. I thought I did a great job tonight." So he needed this type of performance, because like I said, boxing is unforgiving. It says in round 7, Garcia landed 48% of his power punches, according to CompuBox. After buzzing Granados several times, he unleashed a flurry while Granados was on the ropes, forced the referee to stop it a minute 33 into the round. So if anytime you're landing like 50% of your shots, then I think, and when it looks like that, I think that's a pretty good indication of what's going on. But here's the part you guys clicked on. Danny Garcia said post-fight, quote, "I hope I didn't scare Manny Pacquiao away. I'd love a rematch with Shawn Porter, with Keith Thurman, or even a fight with Errol Spence Jr. I'm back." I love this. Errol Spence, a minute ago, it didn't look like these guys were really talking about Errol Spence, about really fighting him, but he's worked his way up the ladder, and now he's being summoned and called out by other big names. Looks like the Shawn Porter Errol Spence fight is going to happen next. This is great stuff. This is great. And Pacquiao being integrated into the Al Haymon Premier Boxing Champion situation is another great addition. Pacquiao's a Hall of Famer, and if he wants to go out in a bang and fight some of these young hungry lions, he wasn't really doing that in general with Top Rank. He wasn't fighting no Danny Garcias and Keith Thurmans and guys like that. So, I love this for the end of Pacquiao's career. See how because Pacquiao's still a threat enough, and Pacquiao and Mayweather are from 2 different generations. These new fighters ain't from the same generation as Manny Pacquiao. So with that being said, you don't know how they adjust and deal with a guy like Pacquiao, because he's unorthodox southpaw. He still has snap in his punches. He still has these big ass calf muscles and jumping around. I want to thank the people. I want to, it's up to my bite, my birthday pipe. He's still Manny Pacquiao. So I like the sound of any of those fights that Danny Garcia mentioned, any of them, they all sound good to me. And this, in my opinion, is why Bob Arum has been lashing out and is angry and, you know, bothered and calling out Al Haymon, because this is the weakest that Top Rank's welterweight division has been. They really have just Terrence Crawford, who's a phenomenal talent and a great fighter. You know, I've always showed respect, but they don't have anyone to match him with unless they work with, you know, Eddie Hearns to get a Kell Brook or one of these PBC fighters. And especially because even Kell Brook, I don't know how many people would want to see the Crawford Kell Brook, because Golovkin already stopped him, and Errol Spence. So I don't really know in terms of becoming a household name. I don't know if that does that for Crawford. I don't know. I guess we have to see. But the real action in the welterweight division outside of Crawford is in PBC. And they can round robin all these guys, make unifications, make big name fights. You know, Danny Garcia has options. He could fight really a Amir Khan rematch. He could fight Adrian Broner. He could fight like a stay busy fight, you know, before like Shawn Porter and Errol Spence, and then fight the winner. So he could fight like Berto. That was supposed to happen a couple years ago. He could fight Sergey Lipinets is another guy. He could fight Errol Spence, but I think Errol Spence is fighting Porter, so that's why I'm saying that, you know. But he could fight the winner of that. He could fight Manny Pacquiao next, like he's calling out. He could fight Keith Thurman again in a rematch. So he has a lot of options. And again, this is what I think is causing Bob Arum to truly lash out, because you know, it's just like Rico and Belly eating a banana. Like when they were driving by in the fly foreigns, and he's like, nah, I don't like that shit. Nah, I don't like that shit. Bob Arum's looking out and seeing like, man, who am I gonna match Crawford with that I can bring, that's an attractive fight, bring back to ESPN, that I can bring and make some money for the company, stuff like that. And Crawford's too good. Crawford's too good to not fight his contemporaries. You get what I'm saying? No one really wants to see Terrence Crawford versus Kerman Lajaraga or whoever from Spain. No one wants to see Mean Machine Kafalophagus versus Crawford, you know, because those guys haven't proven that they're anywhere near a world-class level, you know. And the thing I don't understand about what Bob Arum's doing in his petition, you know, his crusade to like bash Al Haymon, is, one, how is that good for your fighter? Because if you rub things the wrong way, then he might not want to work with you, period. And then you just stuck because of, you know, pettiness and pissing contests and Cold War and all this stuff. So it's not really beneficial to Bud to not be trying to mend and bridge the gap. Instead, you're like burning down the bridge. You know, like Fabulous said. He said people want to burn down the bridge and then want you to send a boat. You know, you can't burn your bridges and then expect them to work with you. I said it, and then recently Leonard Ellerby said it after me, and you know, it's just common sense, really. Why would anyone help you and you're being disrespectful to them or defaming them, slandering their name and everything they work for? And the other thing I don't understand is Crawford versus Errol Spence, awesome fight, great, but they have plans that they want for Errol Spence. Danny Garcia versus Crawford would be dope. Why can't ESPN has all this money? Why can't they put together a little package and see if they can get Danny Garcia? I would even settle, I'm not even bullshitting, Mikey Garcia versus Terrence Crawford. I would settle for something like that. I don't know if Mikey would want it, but you know, I would settle for it. So I don't know. I don't know who Crawford could fight next. I don't know if there's really an interest in the Amir Khan rematch because of how it played out. So back to Danny Garcia. He looked good. He looked sharp. He needed this type of win, and he secured it, and he got it. And I like him mentioning Errol Spence's name, because for a while, nobody seemed to want to mention Errol Spence's name that had a name themselves. So now it's getting to the point where it's looking like the welterweight, all of them got a scrap. And the only one, the odd man out right now, is Terrence Crawford, because he's up here talent level, but his promoter might not be able to deliver him these top names, especially if he keeps disrespecting Al Haymon. I don't know. You know, you let me know. Who's the last person that disrespected you and you did a favor for? Or, you know, some people say, oh, it's boxing, it's making a fight, it's not doing a favor, it's for the fans. But I mean, name the last person that disrespected you or violated you or insulted your family, or, you know, their dog shit on your lawn and you were wanting to work with them in any capacity. You want to barter with them. Like, who name someone. You wanted them to babysit and they let their dog shit in your yard and didn't clean it up. You know, they're cussing you out. It's not ordinary, bruh. Like, so Bob Arum should probably chill, in my opinion. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Danny Garcia versus Pacquiao, Spence Jr. or Shawn Porter. Any of those fights sound good. Keith Thurman rematch. Let me know what you want to see. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.